Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today, including Bruce Boudreau, standing by, are sponsored by Passant Motors. Get to Passant Motors where the spring rides are ready to roll. Right now, pay no GST or get free gas for a year. Put winter in the rear view mirror. Learn more at Passant Motors, BASANTmotors.com. Panthers and Kraken are moving on and joining us to talk about that from the NHL Network. Bruce Boudreau. Bruce, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Panthers,
thanks for calling.
No problem. Panthers over the Bruins in 7. You called that, didn't you?
I would like to say I did, but I probably didn't. I mean, for anybody to think that Boston was going to lose, I think would be just saying it for the sake of being different right now. I mean, with the year they had, I didn't think there was any chance. But, I mean, Florida's a good team. I mean, they proved it last year by being the President's Trophy winner. But I didn't think Boston, especially when they got ahead in the game 3-2, that they would have any chance of losing.
Hey, Bruce, a lot of people point to a lack of adversity for the Bruins during the regular season. They rolled through the regular season. So that's one of the reasons people give for their downfall. How do you explain Boston's downfall?
Well, I mean, here's my theory on this thing. And I talked to another GM years ago, and he said this. He says, the one thing that, and he was talking about my teams in Washington, basically, but he said, you guys play to the maximum of your ability every game during the regular season, but in the playoffs, you got to pick it up 10 to 20% if you want to succeed. And if you can't pick it up 10 to 20%, and the other teams always seem to do, and Florida did that for sure. And you look in the rest of the playoffs, teams picked it up. Boston couldn't pick up it because they played as good as they could play all season long, which is why they had an incredible year. I believe that to be true. I mean, the very same thing happened to us in Washington in 2010 is we had 121 points and we didn't pick it up. Montreal picked it up. We had a 3-1 lead in games. They came back, and once they started going, we couldn't contain them, and their goaltending was out of this world. And when that happens, it's a tough combination to beat.
The road teams won both Game 7s yesterday. I think I've got this right, Bruce. You talk about your Washington teams. 5 years there. You went to a Game 7, I believe, 6 times. Would you rather play that 7th game on the road or at home?
I would now. I'd rather play it on the road. Mm-hmm. I've played all my Game 7s at home. And I think the biggest problem that I've learned from that is you try to be perfect as a coach, and you end up overcoaching sometimes. And when you overcoach, it's not natural for the players, and then they start overthinking. You're starting to overcoach, and things don't go as well as you would like it. So, I mean, if I had the opportunity again in Game 7, first of all, I'd like to be on the road, and second of all, I just do what you did all year to get you there and let the boys play, and they know by that time they know how to play. You've made your little tweaks and everything else, so that's how I would handle that.
Bruce, Seattle, they did it. They knocked off the defending Stanley Cup champs. That's another big upset. What do you like about them, and how impressed were you with the job they did in the opening round?
So impressed, but I was so impressed with them all year. I mean, quite frankly, from the first, especially the second preseason game we played in Seattle this year when I was in Van, is they beat us 4-0, and we never touched the puck the whole game. I mean, every time they were on top of us, and I went, man, this is a tough team to play against. And when they had 4 lines going, it didn't matter if one line was not going that night. They did a great adjustments and playing the other 3 lines above that line, and it was same with defense. So I mean, but they all played the same way. And I don't want to say robotic or anything because they play with a lot of emotion, but at the same time, I mean, there's no weak link right there. The weak link this year was the goaltending, and the goaltending was tremendous in the playoffs.
Hey, Bruce, we know you're a big fan of Luke Schenn. 10 hits in Game 4 in Tampa Bay. This guy, he brings so much to a team. He's helping the Maple Leafs. Bruce, you got to be happy for him.
I'm so happy for him. He's such a great guy, such a good in-house leader. And it's amazing the last 3 years since he went to Tampa, how his career has picked up. And I think he's getting better with age. And they stuck him with Morgan Riley, and he played great. And so there's a reason like Quinn Hughes liked him on his side, because, I mean, he allows these defensemen to move freely, and he just sits there and says, boys, do what you do, and I'll take care of the back end, and I'll take care of you if anybody hits you. And that's what Luke does, and he's doing very well. Really happy for him.
You're familiar with Luke Schenn, also familiar with Bo Horvat. 1 goal, 1 assist in 6 playoff games. Bruce, he didn't produce the points that people expected after the move from the Canucks to the Islanders. Any theories?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a different way to play. I mean, I watched them, and I watched the Islanders series pretty closely, and was trying to think. And I mean, he was playing the same way. He was playing hard. He was out there. I mean, the coaches had confidence. He was out there in all the situations. I just don't think the puck was going in the net. I mean, one of the things that the Vancouver power play was an awful lot better than the Islander power play, and he was a big portion of that. I think Quinn being at the top of the circle is much better than what the Islanders had at the top of the blue line. And Quinn was way more accurate with his shots to play for tips. And I mean, Bo, I think, was leading the league in tips at that point. So I mean, I don't know, but I thought he played. I thought he played good. He tried hard. I think it's more difficult when he's been in one. You know, you look at any of the players when they've been there for an awful long time, and then they go to another team. It's like a whole different culture and everything else, and it takes time to get used to it. I think Bo will have a good year next year, and now that he's used to it, and he gets to start from scratch from there. So I'm not worried. I mean, we all saw him for 7 years, and how good he was for Vancouver. So I mean, it's I think he'll be a 30 goal scorer plus again next year.
You got a cup favorite, Bruce, now that the Avs and Bruins are gone. It seems like it's wide open. Maybe the first Canadian Cup champion since '93.
I was thinking that last night. That, I mean, wouldn't it be cool if Toronto and Edmonton were in the finals?
Yeah.
And I think that it can happen. I mean, the path is there for sure. I mean, there's going to be good teams no matter what, and they're going to go through that. But I mean, it's going to be tough, but I think the path is there for Edmonton. I think they were 2-0-1 against Vegas, so they've got the idea that they can beat them. And then who knows? I think Dallas is going to be the stumbling block for everybody. I mean, Pete DeBoer has made it to the finals every first year that he's coached, so I mean, he's well on his way there. And I thought Minnesota was a tough out, but I think, you know, I mean, Seattle's not going to be easy. But in Seattle's Stanley Cup winning one round against them, and I think Dallas has just got better as the series went along against Minnesota. So it'll be interesting, but I'd love to see a Canadian final. I'm sure the people in the States wouldn't like to see that. The ratings might be a little slippy, but the Canadians would watch that quite closely, I believe.
All right, Bruce, Daryl Sutter fired this morning. Some openings opening up. Where's your passion and heart to get back into the game? There are some openings around, Bruce. What's going on there?
I don't know what's going on. I mean, I still want to be part of it. I still love to coach. So, I mean, if I get the opportunity, I would do it. But it's not like I'm sitting here. I'm waiting, actually, in New Jersey right now. We're going to do a live thing from in New Jersey for tonight's game. But the phone hasn't exactly. You guys are the only call I've had from anywhere in a long time, so I'm not holding my breath. But I would love to do it if given the opportunity again.
So we can call you next week, is what you're saying, Bruce.
Call me anytime you want.
Beautiful. Bruce, thanks for this. Appreciate it. All the best. Enjoy Game 7 tonight.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You bet.